Good evening, everybody. Thanks again for listening. My name is Nelson E. Brown, and this is the Beauty in Us Radio right here on Awesome God Radio. I am really happy to be joining you all this evening. Before we jump right into tonight's topic, I want to welcome our very special guest, Mr. Jerry Royce, live from Positive Power Christian Media, LLC. And I also I want to make a couple of announcements before we begin and jump right into our show. I want to thank you all for all of your condolences, all of the outpouring of love that you have displayed, with every comment and with all of your phone calls and your text messages and with just all your support. And I know that right now it's been really, really challenging for all of us who, anybody who's lost a parent, they understand how it feels to lose a parent. So I definitely encourage you all to keep me in your prayers. I am still in the process of facilitating all of the arrangements for my father. So I encourage you all to just keep me uplifted. It's been really, really challenging. I have shed a lot of tears and I've been trying to hold everything together. And I'm still grieving, and I'm still following up with all of my therapy appointments and with all of the provisions in place to make sure that my mental health and my self-care is my top priority. So I want to thank you all for all of your support. And I know that my father will definitely appreciate all of you guys as you watch his son grow and prosper in this way. So I will definitely be giving you guys updates about everything as this process moves forward. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into tonight's discussion with Mr. Jerry Royce live from Positive Power Christian Media. And we're going to have a little conversation about what it means to work in the field of broadcast communications and in journalism, and what it means to be a radio personality or a TV personality in today's culture. So Mr. Jerry Royce, thank you for joining me. I know this is not our first time meeting each other. I know that we've worked with each other in the past, on other platforms and in other capacities, but this is a great opportunity for both of us to work together again. So how are you doing this evening?
Great, man. Thank you so much for having us on your program. And please accept our sincere condolences from Positive Power to your family. Amen.
Absolutely, and I thank you for your support and your condolences as well. So I was taking a look at your bio, and I noticed all of the accomplishments that you've made in your career in the field of broadcast journalism. And I know that you have established yourself as a leader in this industry, between being an entrepreneur, a radio producer, TV producer, in as far as being a marketing executive and an audio engineer, marketing and digital media personnel, and even with your protege, Skeet Jones, who is going to join us for the second half of the show. I know that you've accomplished a lot. So where did this all begin? Where was your eureka moment in terms of when you wanted to establish a career in this industry? And how did this come about? And when did this thought come to mind when you were growing up?
All right, of course, this can be a 2-hour show if I sat back and tell you, but I'm gonna give you the short version. I fell in love with radio way back when two things happened. My grandfather in Long Island used to love to sit in his driveway in the sun, drinking his whatever, enjoying the Mets. So he used to love the New York Mets. He lived on Long Island, and he was so fond of that little radio box. And we talking about back in the '60s, when I was a little kid, playing in the yard while he's watching me while the girls are out shopping. And he was just so glued to that box, man. So it became a magnet to me, So then when I got into high school, I actually built a transmitter. Well, actually, it was a transmitter, and I turned into a receiver which was able to pick up all the local baseball games and everything. And I entered into a science fair, a Maryland science fair, and it was at Johns Hopkins. I actually won and went to the state championship with that device I built. And it had working rotating antennas on it. It lit up, had dials on it. It was connected to a speaker, and people was truly amazed. They thought it was a kit, but I actually made it all by hand. And that took me pretty far. And then the next thing was when I was I think it might have been the 70s, maybe the 80s. It was the 80s because I was about to drive. CB radios that came out, Citizen Band radios, and they had 23 channels. Then it went to 40 channels, and they had different accessories you could buy for it to become more powerful. Like talk outside your community. And I was able to listen to people as far as Texas and talk to DC. So I got really into that thing, man, buying microphones and learning about the antennas and the different devices to make it stronger and make you sound better. Met a lot of people, which was like the biggest thing. So that was pretty much how I got started in broadcasting, my love for radio.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely. I know that you have a long backstory, but I definitely see how you can be inspired and at such a young age, and how you can use all of your talents, your gifts, your creativity, and your skills to make it into something great. To make a great career out of something that you love. I don't know anything about any of those products. I'm a '90s baby, so. I wasn't even a thought when these products and when these things came to play. So I don't know anything about what you just said, but I don't know about any of those products. But I do appreciate you for sharing that. But when Positive Power Christian Media, so when that first came to mind, how did you start that? Because I know that you just shared about. Your experiences growing up, but when did you tell yourself, okay, I want to start a production company of my own? So when did that take place?
Well, one thing about the Baltimore area, Baltimore is a pretty nice sized market, and they didn't really have no competition when it came to a lot of the radio people, but it was one of those kind of marketplaces that didn't have a lot of room for a new guy to just jump on the scene and say, hey, I want to be an R&B DJ. Because I actually, a couple of friends of mine, we actually owned a mobile DJ group. And so we used to go to different places to play. We was really popular, man. We grew to two groups, and sometimes we had to split up because we worked the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so I had a love for music and a love for people and watching people have a good time. So I knew it was room for me in that area. But like I said, most of the DJs that were DJing that was popular, they also were DJs on the radio. Like some of you guys like Frank Ski and Randy Dennis, and then you had Natalie. There was a couple other DJs that would do some of your parties. So looking at the demographics and the makeup and the blueprint of radio, urban radio, because Radio 1 was growing, but they were moving into other markets. The only way you really could get into that market, you had to leave your city. And I really love my family. I love my city. I love, being part of Baltimore. So I didn't really want to pick up and try to work my way out of a small AM station into a gigantic thing. So what happened was I just went ahead and found a career. I did dibble and dabble a bit in TV because my brother was a model, and we got on a dance show in DC. So that was my love for TV. Was right there watching those guys do all of those kind of things, the setup. And also while I was in community college, I actually went to school at night for a television production. So Comcast actually had a setup at the community college. So we was in the studio, learn how to edit and shoot and set up and all that stuff. And but I was more so in the graphic design because we owned a publishing company. So I had to pick up a lot of different skill sets during that time because everything was still new and still growing because the computers was just growing at the time. They were still big and bulky, but Apple and PCs was at a race. So it kind of opened up podcasting, which kind of opened up in the 90s when Facebook and all them came alive. So because MySpace and all of those kind of social media platforms was growing and Yahoo, it kind of opened you up that you could design, yourself a radio station. And once there were some around, but they were really expensive. They cost like $30,000 to be on internet radio when he first came out. And the only people who could afford them were PhDs and sports people. So still, it was hard you couldn't even get in there. So you had to kind of open up your own door. And that's what I had to do. So I learned how to build this stuff because I went to school for electronic technology. So I knew how to make things work. So that was kind of like how I got into podcasting, was what they really call it before people started calling it radio. Amen.
Yes, and it's definitely. I know that it's imperative to have people that look like us, in these platforms and on these radio shows and television shows, and that's a part of the reason why I started this broadcast with Awesome God Radio. This show is because I noticed that there weren't a lot of young men that looked like me with platforms to talk about many subjects that matter, and to provide them. I did this because I wanted to provide young men that looked like me with a voice on subjects that matter. So how important do you think it is for people in the Black community or in communities of color to have a voice on TV, and on the radio, with podcasts and everything else? So in this field of journalism and in this field of broadcast communications, because I know that back then, probably in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, there weren't really any people of color on television and in different forms of media. That didn't really start until like maybe in the 70s, or maybe even like more so in the 80s. And when, people of color, or, people in the Black community more specifically, they weren't playing characters like maids or butlers or things of that nature on television shows that featured predominantly Caucasian cast members. So how important do you think it is to have people that not just look like us, but in communities of color, to have those platforms and to have that niche or that knack for what they love and what they enjoy?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. That was very important to me, because I was impacted by BET, man. When Black Enterprise Television came on, man, that was like getting a prize out of a Cracker Jack box, man. I was so excited. And matter of fact, because of that platform and what Earl G. Graves was doing with Black Enterprise Magazine, because that was another aha moment for me, man, when I first discovered Black Enterprise Magazine. Because I wasn't the type to hang out at the market looking at magazines. I didn't know it existed until a friend showed it to me. So those two things kind of really opened me up. You're looking at two Black CEOs. I wasn't just looking at the characters, because we were used to seeing hip hop rappers and people, make their way, in the sports arena. So for me, being into broadcasting, seeing Earl G. Graves and Robert Johnson do their thing, I was so excited. And it was important because at the time, before BT became what it is today, what you guys see, it was very, man, it was like CNN. It was like they had all these talk shows that focus on specific things that was important for the growth of the African American, whether it was travel. I mean, that's the first time we got a chance to really see how beautiful these islands were, these beautiful ships. And, they had a show for that. They had a show called Screen Scene. They had shows that was talking about Black media, Black people in news, positive news, as well as entertainment news. So they had like everything, man. And then they had the rap shows that was coming about, like in what was it called, 103 in Parks or something like that. But you had a lot of those shows that was coming about to show that, they made a lot of millionaires in the music industry. So it's, to me, media is so important because you have to be able to come across to a lot of people at one time. You can't just, like we doing, like, you're on social media, you hit 100 people there, 300 there. But since there's so many of us, I heard iTunes said there's over 1 million podcasters on iTunes. I'm not sure how many of those make up of women and people of color, but there's still a lot of people that ordinarily wouldn't be doing anything if it wasn't for those platforms, your Spotify's, your iHeart. So I think it was very important for us to be where we are today, especially, being a Christian platform, because basically for us, I just call it clean music, clean talk. We just keeping it clean. So if you're in your car listening to us through your system and your kids in the car, you won't be offended. Now, sometimes the conversations with some of these shows do get a little risque because they're talking about marriage and relationships. So sometimes you do get the 3-letter words come out, but it's still clean journalism, from the podcasters. And that's what we do. We host programming for other people who were looking for a product that was nice and clean. They didn't have to worry about engineering it. They didn't have to worry about getting the guests and all that. We do all of those things for them. The promotion. They just want to be on the air and have people listen to them. That's all they wanted. Amen.
Yes, and I liked how you mentioned a lot of the channels that feature, people in the Black community doing great things. And in addition to BET, we have TV One, we have Bounce TV. Those are the stations I enjoy watching. And I think it's really, really imperative to have, these channels and have these platforms where you can, like you said, showcase Black people, Black people in the, and Black professionals, in various industries, just doing positive things and not just screaming at each other or cursing each other out and just acting like idiots. I think that is really beneficial. And 106 in Park, I did watch that growing up, and I really, really loved it when it was on BET. Everybody from the early 2000s, in the 2010s decade was on that show. It opened up a door for tons of people, and I know that for a fact, because a lot of the superstars who don't sing pop music, there was nowhere else where you would be able to see them or hear their music. The people in that industry who don't sing pop music, who are more into the R&B and soul genre of music, BET, TV One, Bounce TV would showcase shows with Black families, or when it came to music, Black singers and songwriters, with stories to tell. So I know that it opens up a lot of doors for a lot of people, and that's why I feel like it should be appreciated. And I think that it is, but I still think that we have ways to go in that area. Another question I wanted to ask you is, who is your biggest influence for doing what you do, and who is your mentor right now? Because I know that you were not able to get this far by yourself.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man. Several people come to mind that I was able to see and watch their success. One, I mentioned Earl G. Graves. He just passed, I think, in 2020. Matter of fact, himself. Son's running the company now. Of course, Bob Johnson, and even Arsenio Hall. Arsenio Hall was a big influence because he made a lot of people, a lot of actors and entertainers, millionaires, because now people knew, they became household names. And another person was Cornelius. God, I forgot his last name quick. Don Cornelius. Don Cornelius from Soul Train was huge because, he ran that empire on his own. I didn't get a chance to see the movie, and I wasn't sure how much of it was true. But, coming out of LA, that was real popular because Soul Train was a show that we waited all week to see, the guests, the dancers, and the fashions, because we were attracted to fashion now people. We like to look good. And so, and the hairstyles and everything. And the dance, we want to know what new dances were out. So that was a big influence for Soul Train, man. And then, of course, Moon Man, we call him Moon Man. I forgot his Willie Bacard, I think was his name, from D.C. He's a Baltimorean that had a show that aired in D.C. There was a dance show similar to, and I actually got a chance to dance on that show. My brother and I, my cousin, and some models that we had met in Chicago help us get the audition. So that was my influence, and even Magic Johnson, man, because Magic Johnson had just basically had to retire from sports right away. He had to come up with a new career, and he had his own talk show. Queen Latifah had a show. So they were big influences, man. I mean, I could run the list down. The owners of the family that owned the African American newspaper, because my family owned a newspaper. That's how I got my first chance to get into journalism, was owning a newspaper on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, and it went everywhere because everybody from East Shore who went in the military didn't always come back, but they wanted to subscribe to that paper. So yeah, man, it was some great faces out there, man, that helped me get me where I am today, and that's including television and Frank Skeet too. Frank Skeet actually comes on in DC. He left Baltimore to go to Atlanta, and then he came back to the DC area, and he was another influence. And we also were club members. We had a journalism group from Baltimore chapter, so you get a chance to meet all the Black journalists. And it was a lot of journalists too, the anchor people, that was on TV that I got a chance to meet, being a member of that club. Amen.
Yes, I know that you have to have mentors in order to get to where you want to be in your career. and in order to make your livelihood better, because I know that a lot of people have insight that you don't have in industries that you want to invest in your time and energy and even your money into. So I think that is great that you have tons of mentors and tons of people who are willing to support you and who are willing to, guide you along the way. So what is your, I know that we're going to have Skeet Jones on in a few minutes, but what advice would you give to someone who wants to invest in a career in broadcast journalism or in mass communications? And what are your plans with your business moving forward?
Amen. Oh yeah, and I also want to mention my dad was a big influence too, because he actually had a career in book publishing, and he introduced my brother and I to it, even though we was on the technology and the composition side, where he was more on the printing and binding side of the book. So and that's when he decided to, him and my mom invested in the newspaper business. So dad definitely was an influence too. He also owned a television repair shop, him and his best friend. So I remember seeing him coming in with those big television sets sometimes. So that was my introduction to technology, and I'm going to school for it. Yeah, some of the big things we're working on. Is that the question you asked me too? What we working on moving forward? Moving forward, of course, this platform, the studio I'm in right now, is basically is our broadcasting control room for our broadcasting over the internet. We broadcast live over the internet, and then a radio distributor sends it out to some of the major platforms, and we host, I think 30 shows or something like that, maybe more on demand. We see anywhere between, I guess, like 190 to 198,000 downloads every 7 days with all those platforms. I train individuals in this, and I'm always, helping people make their shows better. I specialize in marketing, digital media. I don't get too much into the analytics of it, but because we kind of understand that you need people to watch you, so you have to find out where they are, your demographics. Moving forward, man, we actually moving a lot into children's productions, storytelling, music for children, TV, maybe some short films, some live events when things open back up. But now that everything is virtual, we're looking at doing a lot of virtual events. So we kind of started ourselves up with puppetry. I've always been a big fan of the Sesame Street characters. Watched Elmo became who he became. Of course, it was a Baltimorean who was the second voice of Elmo, and he just blew it all up. Next thing you saw that guy in all the stores, on TV, everywhere. You see stars singing on the show, anywhere from Usher to Patti LaBelle. And so I had a real fondness for puppetry. Mom said I used to make paper puppets all the time, and I used to love art class, man. So that was always some of my favorite projects, was making puppets. Children ministry, where it's going to be clean productions for them. Kids don't get a chance to have fun anymore. It's like they have to grow up so fast, and they're growing up on our material, which is not fair to them, man. They don't get, and then you look at some of the stuff they look at, it's hidden messages in it, man. So, as a parent, you got to find out what your kids are looking at. But of course, things move so fast sometimes you don't have the opportunity to really look at everything your children look at. Of course, I find that most of the young boys are interested in shows that are about toys. Because I was that way. I used to love watching shows where it was about cars or climbing trees or playing sports. So one of the things that we do in our television program, Ski has his own television show that airs in Atlanta, but it could be accessed anywhere through the Earth Channel. Earth Channel streams it out of Atlanta. And he does a little science report where he reports on different things, whether it's substance like ice, or he's talking about how to care for your dog during the winter, or what is the blue crab? Because Merlin's known for his blue crab, but nobody really know that much about him. They just like him because they're good. So he did a science report because he want to know about the blue crab. So he gets curious in things. So and he loves music too. So my daughter actually has an EP that's going to be released real soon. We have one video released already called Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and then we got Animal Fair, and another one coming out called Baby Shark, our version of Baby Shark, which is a lot of dance music to it. So we're looking to release our own catalog of music. We're working with a production company in Johannesburg, Africa. So we're really excited about the relationship, which is tied into a group out of New York. So we're going to be working on some, not only music that's on the public domain site, but also they're going to be writing for us as well. So that's we're looking forward to that. So my daughter's basically she's kind of multi-talented in dance, singing, and performing. So we kind of using her talent until we're able to start auditioning because it's a really really good dance school out here where I live, and I'm kind of excited to bring them on board, at least audition some dancers and some singers, and you know because we have pop-up studios around the Maryland area, which have access to a lot of children. And we have a couple partners, man, that are just waiting to embrace the community with this new, you know, entertainment coming out of Positive Power, because that's what we're about, man, positivity. And like I said, I had a great childhood, man, and I just think it's unfair that the kids, only thing they have left to do is to sit in the house and play games all day, man. Like my son, he just played video games from sun up to sundown. I was like, man, of course I was, you know, we love when we had them engaged in sports, but, you know, when you start reaching 17, 18, if you're not going to college for sports, then that's when you have to kind of look at your career path. So he works with me with this, and he's in school. Matter of fact, he goes to a college, HBCU for mass communication. My daughter's actually studying psychology, but you see, she was in 2 magnet schools, so she had enough of dance and singing. So she's already perfected that craft. So now she's just trying to get into a career that's going to afford her the luxury that she wants. But yeah, that's it, man. That's basically our plans, and of course to keep doing what we're doing. I'm not going to be a BET and host my own channel, but I love putting my programming on other stations that have a large viewing audience. And that's what we do now. We have shows running right now in Brooklyn, and we just got a TV deal and a TV pilot going on in the Bronx. I think I got 3 TV shows. One is a series, and 2 of them, I think, are TV pilots in Brooklyn. And then we have a couple TV series airing in Atlanta, Georgia, in DeKalb County. And also we're on Atlanta Live on WATC with one of our programs as well. So yeah, so we're excited what God has brought us, man. We we just behind the scenes, you know, I don't do as much in front of the camera no more. It's a lot of great talent out there. You know, you get a chance to see our lineups. Go on my Facebook page, Jerry was Live, and you'll see all of our television talent as well as our radio talent. And a lot of our television talent start out as radio talent. Amen.
Yes, well, you guys are just awesome. I'm just listening to everything, and you're checking off the list. I mean, you guys are just awesome. And so, I mean, I think there's a lot to look forward to, and you've already accomplished so much, and there's much more in store, and I definitely see where you guys are going, and you have a clear vision in terms of what you guys want to do. But without further ado, I would really love since you talked about puppetry and establishing your children's ministry, I would really love for Skeet Jones to come on to speak about it himself, since I was on his show back in September, along with Miss Lakeisha Mosley on the Lakeisha Mosley show, as well as last May when I was on Pastor Red and Evangelist Crystal Henry's show. So I was on a couple of the platforms that you have for your company. So if you don't mind, could you bring Skeet on so we could talk to him? And I think the listeners would really love to meet him.
All right, let me get Skeet out. He's ready, man. He's been sitting back here waiting patiently, man. He's probably saying, when is Jerry Royce going to shut up and let me on TV? Because he loves being in front of the camera. Hey, there you go. What's up, Nelson? How you doing, brother? How you doing?
Hi, Skeet. How are you doing? You're right in front of the audience. So do you mind saying hi to the listeners?
Hello, boys and girls, grandparents, parents, adopted parents, whatever. How y'all doing? I'm Skeet Jones for the Magical Puppet Playhouse on Positive Power and Positive Nation TV. What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yes, and I thank you for taking time out of your, your sleeping time. I know you were getting some, beauty sleep. I know you like enjoying your rest. I appreciate you for taking time out to come on to my show right here on Awesome God Radio.
Thank you. Most of the time, I'm just chilling out, watching out for our little doggy, because she gets me confused with her stuffed animals sometimes, and I don't want to find my leg somewhere else, not attached to my body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do understand you completely. So, Mr. Jerry was telling us about, your show, and the children's ministry that you guys are trying to establish. So I know that I was on your show back in September, but could you tell the listeners a little bit about what you do on your show and the Magical Playhouse in that platform?
Yeah, man, yeah, of course. Yeah, well, I got my cousin Coy helps me out sometime. He does Zoom. He's in college right now, but he helps me out. I do a science report on my show, but we also allow our platform. We lend our platform out to storytellers. We got a lot of young ladies who have their own children book out, and they were able to record themselves, or they came on our platform. We record them via Zoom because that's what everybody doing these days. Jerry Royce knows what he's doing, so I trust him. So we do storytelling, and also we do play music videos, praise and worship music, because a lot of it is good music to dance to, and I enjoy it, and I think the boys and girls will enjoy it. And you never know, they might decide one day they want to be a musician, or a dancer, or whatever they want to be. We just trying to help them out, keep it positive. Hey, Jerry Royce, pay attention. Damn, man. He always messing with me, man. That's my producer. Yeah. So that's what we do, man. But we looking forward to doing some other things too, man, with the boys and girls. Of course, we couldn't do the live events in person, but I probably wasn't ready yet anyway for that. I'm more of a TV guy. So we looking forward to doing reaching more people through television and some short movies. That's what we looking forward to. That's what Skeet looking forward to. I don't have to leave the house. It's dangerous out there. We got COVID-19 running around. It flies. You can fly.
Yes, and I know that it's a huge responsibility, having your own show, and it can sometimes be taxing. So I wanted to know, not just for myself, but for the listeners, what do you do to stay rejuvenated? Because I know that it's tough work being in front of the camera and creating content each week for your show. So what do you do to rejuvenate your mind, your body, and your spirit every week on your show so that you can stay positive?
That's a good question, Nelson. Glad you asked me that. Skeet watched a lot of YouTube, and I guess you guys noticed that I was mad with Jerry Royce because he gave me this laptop that was so slow. Man, it took half hour just for it to come on. And I kid you not, I ain't gonna put the manufacturer out there like that, but I told him I want an i7 minimum, maybe an i5. But anyway, yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube, just to stay fresh on the new toys that's out. So we starting out kind of slow right now. We taking the kids back to basics right now. You catch some of my episodes. I did an episode on the toy stick, the toy ball, and we just did one recently on the baby doll. A lot of people don't know there's actually a Toy Hall of Fame.org. Shout out to those people. They did a great job. It's a museum. Got toys there. I can't wait to get there. Where is it anyway, Jerry? Man, pay attention, man. You on TV. Oh, that's right. My bad. All right, Nelson, you got another question for me, man? I'm excited.
Yes, I have a few more questions for you. I know that back in September when I was on your show, and at the end of the broadcast, you mentioned to me, and I mentioned to you that I was in the process of creating content for a children's book and a book series of that nature, because I know that a lot of content that you present on your show involves children and just the things that children love and enjoy. So what exactly are you looking for in a children's book author? Because I would really love to come on your show in the future and read to the kids once I create my content and have that ready and prepared for you to have it on the platform for the boys and girls.
Well, whatever come to your heart, because I'm going to tell you, man, we have a variety of people. Just like this past week, we had Sarah Herron on. She's from Minneapolis, beautiful woman. And she did a book on devotion. She said when she was a young girl, she's Asian descent, she didn't have no friends. And then finally she had one friend that was with her for 3 grades, and then her family moved, so she had to start over. She had no friend. So she wrote about that in her book. So she wrote about how she made Jesus her friend. So her book was about her relationship with Jesus. That's exciting. I got copies here now. And also, we had a young lady who, she had 3 boyfriends. She fathered their children, and all 3 of them died. What do you say to that? So anyway, she wrote a book explaining to her daughter that her father still comes and visit her at night. So that was a story. And then there was one lady, her father used to always speak to her about don't want to be a half of anything, a half of a rabbit. So she wrote a book called Half a Rabbit. So, in other words, the metaphor was try to be the best that you could possibly be. Don't go into anything halfway. Go all the way. So that was her message. So I it's up to you, man. Whatever God put on your heart, just speak to Jesus. He will help you out. Because Skeet got a book coming out too. Matter of fact, I got a whole series coming out, right, Jerry Royce? Yep. Yeah, I got a series coming out, man. It's based on Jerry Royce's life growing up in his neighborhood. I was going to say community. I made a new word, man. Community neighbor.
You ain't say that.
Oh, okay. But community or neighborhood. He had a really nice, exciting childhood, and we try to put a little bit of that into my TV show. But we hope to take it to another level with the books. And then I'm gonna start reading too. So we got some new stuff coming out too. We're gonna be taking the storytelling to another level as a series itself on social media. So the parents don't always have to wait till Saturday for the kids to get some story time with me. So basically, I'm going to be doing a series on YouTube on reading nursery rhymes. Yeah, it's a lot of them. It's over 100, 200, what they call them, fables, fairy tables, something. Fairy tales, man. Nursery rhyme. Yeah, nursery rhyme. That's what I wanted to say, Jerry. I'm glad you here, man. You help me out all the time. I appreciate you, Jerry boy. Give me a hug. Man, get back on there, man. Oh, my bad. Sorry, Nelson. I lose focus sometimes, man. It ain't my fault. Anyway, you got another question for me, man?
Yes. Just like I asked Mr. Jerry, what are your biggest influences? Because I know that, and who are your mentors? Because I know that, having a show is taxing. And just like I shared with Mr. Jerry, it can be really taxing. And I know that you can't, well, I wouldn't say you can't, but I think that it's really challenging to be on this journey by yourself. So who are your mentors and who do you turn to for assistance in this? Because I know that you're going to be a huge star. You already are a huge star. And I know that it's just going to grow exponentially, with each show and with all of the content that you present. So who is your inspiration?
Well, I try to keep it positive, So, Jerry Royce is a good role model for me. He's family man and he take good care of me and Corey and CC. He had a whole lot of puppets. He had about 30 puppets. You guys just haven't seen them all yet, but it's a lot of us. And he takes good care of us. So we look up to him and his family. Also, because I look at a lot of YouTube, about toys, because I love toys. And I love sports too. I like me some Lamar Jackson. I like Lamar, man. And so I do watch a lot of the sports channel just to get an idea, about doing interviews, because I have interviewed some Christian hip hop rappers, storytellers, and authors on my show before, and health people. And I kind of want to, have an idea how my stuff supposed to flow. So I kind of do watch a lot of Good Morning Football, because I like them. They keep it positive. No matter how bad a player has played, they never really say nothing that negative about them. They try to keep it positive. Then them other shows on there, man, they are garbage, man. They be talking about them boys are young. Don't they know those football players are only in their 20s? And they hear that stuff and they see it on Twitter. See, we got to learn how to be responsible as journalists. We can't just be on here just making stuff up. It's a responsibility. So, Nelson, I want you to always remember that, man. As you grow, be responsible. You're responsible for getting the community positive information. If it's bad news, like, somebody just robbed a bank and he hiding out in your community or got you at gunpoint, then you may want to tell the people the truth that he's in your house. I want a kid, man. But anyway, we just got to keep it honest without, we're responsible for the information we put out there. So I just want to give good stories, good storytelling, good journalism, good interviews. So that's what I do, man. I just watch other people work, and just try to, do the best I can, man. That's all I can say. That good, Jerry Royce?
Yeah, man, you doing good, little buddy.
Thanks, man. Get back on there, man. I was only kidding. I wasn't gonna leave. All right, Nelson, so that's good, man.
Yes, I do want to talk about just a little bit. I'm going to take a little detour, and I know that you have a cousin that I've seen you with, on social media. Could you tell us a little bit about your cousin? Because I would really like to meet him as well, if that's possible, and to
Oh
have him
no,
on my show.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be tough to get Corey now because school started this week and he trying to stay focused. So it'll be tough to get him. Plus, Jordan operates him too, so he can't work without Jordan. They both in college. But he'll be back soon, though. He'll be back for the spring break, all summer. But anyway, yeah, he's my cousin, and he likes to play instruments, and he's been on a couple music videos already. And he quiet guy, but he's good at reading. He can read. He read real well. Because Skeet like to listen to his stuff. But Jerry Royce said, I got to start reading some stuff. So who knows what y'all might hear come out my mouth. Corey, good reader. You can tell he in college.
Yes, and yes, I'm definitely going to see if I can book him for a spring show or maybe even a summer show so that I can learn a little bit about him and what he does, because I think that the listeners would really appreciate him being on the show to talk about the work that he does in the same field. I was going to say, what is your advice to the boys and girls, and even to the men and women out there who may be looking to start a children's program, or who may be looking to establish a ministry as an author or as a TV or radio personality, or in any capacity? What is your biggest advice that you have, or what's the most advice that you have for them? Because I know that it definitely is a journey, and sometimes we can be really, really tough on ourselves. We can be hard on ourselves when we are trying to pursue what we want to pursue, and when things don't go the way we anticipate, we kind of beat ourselves up and we don't really cut ourselves some slack. So, what is your advice for people who are thinking about that, or even maybe considering that for their future?
Yeah, well, I just believe if it's something you really want, you got to really dive into it. You got to invest yourself, take some courses, watch people that's really good at it. I like watching people that's really good at stuff, the best, because I want to be good like them or even better. That's why I told Jerry Woods, I'm going to be a star because I'm going to be better than Elmo. I watch that little guy. He'll never change his clothes or nothing. Wear the same stuff. But, that's why I wanted nice hair. I want to have some style. I think you got to have some style along with the information you're giving people. People want to see somebody good looking on TV, like us. We good looking. Anyway, I say just keep it positive. Stay away from negative people. And you're going to have some people say, oh, you can't do that. Yeah, you live in the hood. You can't be a journalist. You can't be an anchor man or a weather girl because you in the hood. Hey, I said, look, when you watch those guys playing college football, most of those guys are from the hood. They were the best player on their team. They made up their mind they wanted to be Barry Sanders or Thurman Thomas, or they want to be, I'm going to say Ray Rice too, because he with the Ravens. Or they may want to be Tom Brady, he the best ever. And they may want to be Lamar because he's going to be the next best along with Patrick Mahomes. See, I watch a lot of football. I guess you can tell because I'm studying. I want to be a football player, but I may want to report on sports. That might be my next show. Or I might hire one of my puppet friends to do a sports show for kids. You never know, because they be on YouTube, the little kids football, little kiddie pee-wee football. Anyway, I always say, my advice is just don't let those negative influences bother you. Like I'm on YouTube a lot, like I said, I don't bother Facebook that much, but because I know sometimes people be hating on people, and I hear the comments, I read the comments. So my advice to you too, man, you may have some relatives that say, oh man, you ain't going nowhere with that, man. Why you waste your time? Don't even listen to that. Then you go, that's when you need your mentor. Your mentor will bring everything back in perspective, wake you up, slap you in the face, bam, hey, wake up. Don't listen to them people. They just a bad dream. Man, I'm preaching today, Jerry Royce. You preaching, man. You preaching. Yeah. So anyway, Nelson, my advice to you, man, like I know you just lost your dad, man, and I don't know how big of an influence he was in your life. Sometimes just him just being there, man, he took you out to baseball games, football games, or even to a movie, doesn't matter. he still was your dad, and you love him for that. You know, sometimes we just want to know he's around, he's okay. That's all you want to know. So, you know, our heart go out to you, and condolences to you and your family, man. And we please accept our love and everything, and we hope you move past this one. But as long as you got good memories, you know, got a picture of him you can look at, he's still with you. He's still with you more now than ever, right? You like that, Jerry Royce? I'm preaching, man. What am I do? What am I preach? Hey, get back on that, man. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Sometimes I just lose focus, man. Sorry about that, Nelson. And what else you got for me, man? I know we got 3 minutes.
Well, I do want to. I would like to thank you for joining. But one last question that I do have about how are you going to move forward personally? Well, in your personal life with the COVID-19 pandemic and with all of the restrictions that have been put in place. So, what are you going to do when you come out of this? And how are you going to look at what is your outlook on life going to look like once this is all over?
Well, I think I'm gonna stay on TV. I don't think I'm going to be doing a whole lot of, you know, in-person stuff. I think that's going to be the other puppet's duty. I'm a TV host and radio podcast. Yeah, I'm podcasting, right, Jerry Royce? I'm podcasting. You're a podcaster, yeah. But anyway, I think I'm going to just work on finding more interesting stories, more interesting things that little kids want to know about. You know, try to be a teacher. That's why I want to be a teacher. You know, I'm a science teacher anyway, but you know, we're gonna take it to the next level. We're looking at introducing the kids to some fun stuff on TV. So I'm looking at stuff now just so I can find another way to do it better. You know, always try and get better. That's all I want to do. Now, so I just want to get better, man. You know, just get better and my show grow into other markets. And my ultimate goal, I want to be on Netflix, man. That's my goal, man. That's where Skeet want to be. Netflix, man. Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, movie time. Yeah, that's about it, man. Just want to keep getting better and just, meditate, for about 8-9 hours a day and just enjoy life, man. And for COVID, people, you really got to protect your older people. I saw the numbers of some of our celebrities. Man, I was kind of heartbroken to see Larry King because he was a Mongol. He was the GOAT of broadcasting. And man, he was doing okay for a minute there, man. Then COVID got him and just took him out. So we just got to be careful out there and respect. We got older people in our houses. We got to be, we just got to be careful. I did a segment on that too, man. Wear your mask and wash your hands. All right, that's all I got for you, Nelson, man. But, on a positive note, don't forget you can catch my show on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Earth Channel. And you can go to Facebook Live with Jerry Royce Live, and you can find a link to all my shows, and the kids can come out and have a good time. And let them be kids again, man. Let them be kids. They already upset they in school with their friends right now anyway. Protect our teachers.
Yes. Yes. Well, I appreciate both of you for taking time out of your schedule to come on to this broadcast and to share your knowledge and expertise in your fields. And I will definitely be in touch, and I will definitely have you guys on again to talk about all of the new projects that you have in store, so that you can share that with our listeners so that they can remember to keep in touch. And I am definitely going to support I know that AGR, Awesome God Radio, and Positive Power Christian Media, I definitely see us working together in order to make something great. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody, and thanks again for you two for taking time out of your schedule to listen and to learn and to give me your time. So I definitely appreciate it. So I just wanted to say that before I let you go.
All right, thank you so much, man. And Jerry Royce said, thank you so much for having him too. He had a good time. And have us back, man. We appreciate you, man. All right. Again, accept our condolences, and we see you soon. All right, Jerry Royce, can I cut it off, man? Let me cut it off. Not now, man. You done, Nelson?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, everybody, for having us. All right. Peace out, brother.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, peace out. Yeah, let me cut it off, man.
Well, that wraps up another edition of the Beauty in Us Radio right here on Awesome God Radio. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening, but I also want to take a few moments to acknowledge all of you for all of your condolences. Again, I said it at the beginning of the show, but I'm going to reiterate how blessed I am to have all of you as my listeners. I definitely appreciate you guys for supporting the Beauty in Us Radio right here on Awesome God Radio every Tuesday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. I've been going through a lot. I've experienced a lot in the past 6 months. Health-related issues, being jobless, and now the passing of my father, and I'm still trying to move through college, finish up college, and I'm still, moving and grooving in whichever way I can so that I can make sure that not only that I'm networking with people in my field, and I'm definitely making sure that my mental health and my self-care is at the top of my priority list, especially for this year after recovering from a devastating year last year. But I wanted to let you guys know that my father, like I said, he would definitely appreciate all of you and your condolences and all of your prayers and support. But I did a show 2 months ago about the freedom of forgiveness and about the peace in that. And now that he's going to be with me, my father will be with me, I'm able to establish that peace. I've been emotional for the entire week. I've been in tears. I've gone to bed crying, and I've gone to bed just thinking about everything. And I just want to just send this message out to all of the parents and even to children, adult children who may have parents. And I want to encourage you all to just cherish each other, love on one another, and forgive one another, as I have done. You will be at peace when you forgive each other and when you're able to move forward, because you never know when the person that you love and care about, whether or not they'll be gone the next day. You could see them now and they could be gone tomorrow. So I definitely appreciate you guys again for listening and for tuning in this evening. Starting next week, we are going to have Black History Month. For the entire month of February, we're going to be talking about Black history. For 4 straight weeks, we're going to be talking about really iconic figures, and I'm going to incorporate them into the research, into the stats that I pull. You guys know me, sociology student all day. I'm going to pull some stats from different sources to talk about, Black History Month, important figures, iconic figures. But again, I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that in tonight's broadcast. Again, my father would definitely appreciate you guys for showering me with unconditional love. He would definitely appreciate you guys for having him in your thoughts and in his prayers. And again, the peace and forgiveness is unerasable. So again, that broadcast back in November was a breakthrough for me. And now that he is with me and that he has the opportunity to be with me for eternity, and nobody can be in the position to take that away from me. I thank God for a father's love. I thank God for being my father's son. And I thank God for his strength in all of this. So before I log off, I want to encourage you all to share this broadcast with your friends, your family members, your peers, and your loved ones. And I want to encourage you all to call the suicide hotline if you feel as though you may have suicidal thoughts or ideas or tendencies. I know that we're still going through tough times, very difficult times, with all of the social distancing and the self-isolation that's taking place. Many families are going hungry. Many people are losing their jobs left and right. And many people are dying, not just because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but just because of their underlying health conditions and it's a wide variety of things. So I just want to encourage you all to stay uplifted and stay encouraged. And I ask that from you all. That's my number one request as I continue to grieve for the passing of my father. I know losing a parent is the most devastating thing that you can go through. So I'm still asking for all of your prayers and all of your support and all of your encouragement. And I see your comments. So just because I don't say anything doesn't mean I don't read them. So I definitely appreciate you all. And my mom is supporting me in this time of grievance. So I will see you guys next week. So just make sure that you make an appointment to meet me back here at 6 p.m. next Tuesday. And that is on February 2nd of 2021. So make an appointment to meet me next Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on the Beauty in Us radio, right here on Awesome God Radio. I love you all. I encourage you all to stay safe and to stay healthy. And I will see you next Tuesday.